Wow, we made it. Episode 2. Who thought we'd get here?
Welcome to the Distant Friends podcast. Today we have an assortment of topics because we don't know what to talk about for Christmas time.
Yeah, technically, when this comes out, it'll be like almost Christmas. Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah,
Merry Christmas,
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy holidays.
If you're not religious, hope you're having a great ass day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really about it. Imagine if that was the whole podcast.
Like, oh, okay, cut it off. Shut it down.
Happy holidays, everyone. Have a nice day.
See you next week.
We're postponing for this week. We'll see you next week. Oh boy. First thing I have to ask is there anything you really want for Christmas?
Like, actually?
Yeah, like, do you want anything for Christmas? Well, like, not for me.
I was gonna ask you to give me something for Christmas. I was like, ooh.
Nah, bitch, I'm broke as fuck. I can barely afford presents for my own family. That barista pay don't give me shit.
There's not really anything, like, exciting that I've, like, asked for Christmas. Like, believe it or not, like, from my parents, I asked, like, for an electric toothbrush. and then I needed, like a new, like, electric razor thing. So I asked that from my other parent. Like, really, other than that, I didn't ask for anything. I just didn't know what. Because, like, I asked for an Apple Watch last year, and I've worn it, like, twice. So I was like, well.
Yeah, I thought about asking for an Apple Watch, but I was like, I can't wear it at work. Like, we're not allowed to wear anything on our wrist besides, like, a hair tie. So, like, I can't even wear it at work, which is really all I do.
I wouldn't.
So, like, what's the point of getting one?
I mean, I can wear it at work. I'm just afraid I'll break it, so I just don't. And I wore it to the gym a few times because, like, it can like attempt to track, like, how many calories you burn and all that stuff. So I wore it a few times, but then I just keep forgetting. So it's been sitting on my little nightstand over here for a couple months. If anyone wants an Apple Watch, hit my line.
$200. Here we go. I was gonna say, I don't even really know what I wanted for Christmas. Obviously I got a cat, and that was kind of like, I told my parents I wanted to adopt a cat, and my mom kind of stepped up and was like, you know what, I'll pay for your cat, that'll be a Christmas present. So I was like, oh, okay. And, like, the shelter that we went to rescue him, he was like, after the discount, he was like $60. So
yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be so expensive.
Yeah, he was a pretty cheap cat, and he's been vibing.
You can go to, like, PetSmart and pay like $2,000.
I know, like, oh my god, hamsters and shit like that, birds.
Hamsters aren't that bad. My Morgan has she's had 2 hamsters. They weren't expensive. It's like all the accessories with them is what's expensive.
Yeah, because we had to buy all the stuff for my cat Mayhem, and it was like $200 for all that shit. I was like, god damn. And then I just bought, like, a cat perch for him, so, like, a scratching post for him, and that shit was also expensive. Like, goddamn. It's expensive being a fucking mom. But yeah, I didn't want anything for Christmas, so I was just like,
It also doesn't even feel like Christmas.
No, not at all. Like, everyone was saying, oh, like, it's the holiday season, and I was like, yeah, but at Starbucks it's the holiday season from, like, August to December. So
because, I mean, unloading, like, the trucks at Lowe's, just, like, low-key dox myself, like, we get Christmas stuff starting in, like, October. So, like, I've been seeing Christmas trees and Christmas lights and those, like, inflatable things you put in your yard and all that stuff since October. And now, like, December's actually here, and I'm like, oh, cool. Like,
no, you know what's crazy? Have you ever been to, like, a Hobby Lobby before?
Like, once. I don't know how that place is in business. They sell drugs. I'm just...
No, they have Christmas stuff all year round. Literally all year round. Like, you can walk into the back of the store, and there's trees, ornaments everywhere. And then I looked it up online, and apparently they're just like this hyper religious kind of organization.
Yeah, it makes
and
sense.
I had no clue. I was like, oh.
Maybe that's how they're still in business. They get funding from the damn church.
Unironically, probably. They
Like,
probably
I
get
have
donations
only ever,
from.
I've been in a Hobby Lobby like once, and I was like, I've never in my life heard someone say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Hobby Lobby." No, like, and same thing with Long John Silver's is the same damn thing. Who keeping that place in business?
Mattress Firm, Hassel's Mattress.
Yeah, no. Mattress firms actually like move weight, but that's a topic for another day.
We just talk about conspiracy theories, just being like,
We should do an episode on conspiracy, because JFK assassination, bro. I can.
Oh no.
Like,
oh no.
Don't get me started. But no, that's not today. Another time.
Speaking of cat, speaking of like religious like stuff, it's Christmas time, which means people are coming out of the woodworks to. Have you seen the yard signs that people put up that says like "Keep Christ in Christmas"? Like, do you have that in Virginia? Because it's very common.
In the areas like I live, probably if I were to like go to the more rural areas, I would see it, but not anywhere. Because I mean, I live in a college town, so definitely not here. But even I was gonna say, like even back home, I've never seen anything like that. Like we just have like the usual like, you know, like there's religious stuff, but it's not like the "Keep Christ in Christmas" or whatever the hell they're on about.
I was gonna say, I live in between like two really large cities, and even then, like I live in a small city, because since it's a more liberal area, a lot of people tend to come out like with signs that say like "Keep Christ in Christmas," like especially where I grew up, which was more in like the rural suburbia kind of area. They were everywhere. Just like the Trump yard signs were everywhere. It's always like "Keep Christ in Christmas" and stuff like that.
The Trump yard signs, you can find those anywhere. Like,
I know, those are widespread. There's one that like when I drive back to my parents' house, they literally, it's huge. Like, I don't know where the fuck they got it from, but it's ginormous, and they put lights on it.
You actually there's a place in Virginia, I'm pretty sure it's in South Boston, Virginia, and it's this church that is like, it's like an epicenter for like Trump stuff. And I forgot what it's called, but I saw a TikTok about it, and like I'm not too terribly far from South Boston, so I might have to like skirt by and see it. But there's apparently like this church or like this building that used to be a church that they just collect Trump stuff ever since he's been president, and they have like yard signs and flags and those like cardboard cutouts and all that stuff just inside and outside. And it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. I don't get the whole idolizing politicians, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't really. Well, the thing is like, the reason I wanted to like kind of talk about the keeping Christ in Christmas thing was because recently, and this was a long time ago, but a guy, like a video essay creator, his name is Age Bomber Guy.
Okay.
Probably like randomly seen like his videos. He recently,
name dropping,
like, a year or so ago, he made a response to vaccines, where he literally just like debunked, you know, vaccines causing autism for the 80 millionth time in the world, and doing like a really good in-depth job about it. But apparently, like 3 or 4 years ago, he made one about the war on Christmas, and it's like a solid, like over an hour long, or like about an hour long, and I watched the whole thing, and I was just like so fascinated, because I had no idea this was like a talking point for like the right. Like, I had no clue that like this was a thing. But apparently for like during the Christmas time, it's very common for like right-wing media to sort of just bring up just, you know, oh, we're no longer allowed to say Merry Christmas, we have to say Happy Holidays and stuff like that, and it's a war on Christians. Dumb. And I was like, that's so interesting to me, because their big thing is like people, they say that people are offended by saying Merry Christmas and instead say Happy Holidays, but aren't you being offended by, like, not, like, I don't understand. Like, it sounds like hypocrisy, being like, oh, they're offended that we say Merry Christmas. Well, it sounds like you're offended by saying something as simple as Happy Holidays.
And, like, what I don't understand about that is, like, they act like, or people who, like, have that argument are acting like that the phrase Happy Holidays just hasn't existed.
Yes.
People, like it is common for people to say, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. Because guess what? Even if you take the religious holidays out of the month of December or whatever, so you take away, like, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and all the other ones you have, you still got New Year's. That's you say Happy Holidays because there's another holiday at the same, like, it's just so dumb. And, like, no one is saying you can't say Merry Christmas. They're just saying it's more polite. It's more inclusive to say Happy Holidays because guess what? Newsflash, not everyone in America is a damn Christian. Like,
not everyone celebrates Christmas, and like,
and even if it is a small amount, like, it's still, you know, polite and inclusive to just say, oh, have a happy holidays. And even then, you don't even have to remove the phrase Merry Christmas. You can say, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. There, we've covered everybody.
I was gonna say, that was something he talked about in his video. He was like, I don't understand why people are saying, like, oh, we can't say Merry Christmas anymore, because we used to, like, he brought up pictures of old advertisements and stuff like that where it literally says Happy Holidays on it.
I'm pretty sure
like it's not like a new saying.
I'm pretty sure there's even Christmas songs that say Happy Holidays.
Yeah, there's the song that's like Happy Holidays.
Yeah, that one. Happy. Yeah. It's like, ooh, like, God, it's so annoying. I hate people. No one's attacking Christmas or Christianity or Jesus or nothing. No, we just want to, you know, not exclude people because not everyone's a Christian and not everyone celebrates Christmas. So.
I feel like it's another, like, another example of, like, a pitfall in America, I guess.
Another example of why we're made fun of on the world stage. Oh, look, they're over there arguing about Christmas. Like, shut up.
Shut up. Find something else to talk about during the holiday season.
Let's argue about something that matters. Like,
speaking of things that matter.
What a nice segue. I don't know what the fuck you're about to say, but great segue.
For recently, I don't know if on my Twitter, something that's come up a lot is the AI art kind of debacle that's been happening. I follow a lot of, like, just artists who post their artwork on Twitter, and it's something that they talk about all the time. Apparently it's more popular on, like, actual art websites and things like that. What are your opinions on AI art? Because mine are kind of mixed.
So, I mean, let me just, like, for myself and everyone, is it just like it's people upset that, like, there's AI that can make art
that generates, like, images, yeah.
And so they're upset that, like, are they upset because they are saying, like, their art's not going to be appreciated because you can literally just say, hey, computer, do X, Y, and Z?
I think it's that, and a lot of people are worried, like, oh, this could literally, like, take away jobs and, like, oh, diminish, like, any, like you said, like, appreciation or, like, respect of actual artists that take their time to learn and draw and create their works. And there's also been an issue of people having their artwork kind of, like, stolen with these AI generation sites,
mm-hmm.
where you can steal, like, they'll take, like, a reference image,
yeah,
and things like that. That's kind of what people are really upset about.
I mean, I get that. Like, I understand them being upset about that. I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like it's not really the same, but I kind of feel like it falls in the same realm of, like, when electronic music came around, and I mean like electronic music as in like the ability to pull up one of these like mini programs that gives you like every instrument in the world, and then you can literally plug in a keyboard and play any instrument. Like it might fall in like that same thing where like, because I know Prince, when this whole thing was coming about, Prince was one of the people who was like, oh, like everybody's got a keyboard, they can do all this stuff, and he's kind of like, it's not real music. But
yeah,
it never really took away from it, because like the difference, like there are still musicians. Like yes, everyone can play any instrument in the world, but there are still musicians, because like the difference is night and day. Like you can,
there's producers and musicians. It's not as
yeah,
if
like
they're both skilled in their own ways.
yeah, and like you can listen, like there is a like sonic difference between like electronically generated instruments and real instruments played by real musicians. So it might fall into like that same thing where like, yeah, AI art might like take off, but you can definitely tell the damn difference between a thing kind of like made randomly by a computer and something made by like an actual artist.
I was gonna say, because people are very worried like for AI art, because it's getting to the point where it's a lot more, I don't want to say realistic, it's more along the lines that it's becoming more humanistic and proportionate. So it's getting better at like being able to actually draw people, like real people, and have it look correct and proper. Like the AI machines, the thing that I am mixed about is I find stuff like that to be interesting, like AI in general, like how it learns and it learns over time, and how you can see like its improvements. The other side of it though is like I definitely feel for the artists, because I've seen so many artists like post comments on their thing where it's like a person being like, oh, what program, like AI program did you use to make this? And they're like, no, I drew this.
Oh,
they're like, no, I drew this on Photoshop. And they're like, oh, okay. Like, it's like, it reminds me of like the NFT craze again, where people are like, oh, it's so cool, like it's gonna change the game. And I feel like that's what's happening again with AI art generation, is everyone's like, oh, it's really gonna change the game. But it's not gonna take away from the fact that there are like genuine, incredible artists out there that like you cannot take away from like their artwork and design and all that. Like it, like you said, it's different from a keyboard to an actual guitar playing. It's the same exact thing with like AI art to just a person drawing with a pencil and shading and making a person, like a drawing of a human being. It's hard for an AI to actually draw it proportionately and accurately. So there's always going to be appreciation for actual artists. It's just AI art is coming in and out of nowhere and just being like, look, I can halfway do it too. And people are like, yeah, like, that's way better than actual artists. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like they'll be fine. I definitely understand it. 'Cause I guess I don't have like too much to say, because like I don't know too much about it, and I'm not really like an art fiend. Like art's cool, but like just whatever about it. But I definitely feel like it'll fall sort of like in the realm of like the electronic music and actual music, where people will learn how to do it, and they'll get the computer to make amazing things, but you still can't take away like the actual beauty of someone who sits down and draws or paints or whatever an actual image. Like,
I was gonna say, I'm sure some like in some way, shape, or form will learn how to utilize it for something useful, but like not necessarily have it dominate the art field, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
I think everyone will be fine. Someone who's not gonna be fine though, Kanye fucking West.
Mr. West. My man is
Mister,
not okay.
I made graduation.
No, my man's not gonna be okay.
After all the stuff that's happened, like, I genuinely feel bad because I have bipolar disorder, and it is also, like, been announced a long time ago that Kanye also has bipolar disorder. Like, he literally made an album about it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good album.
And it's a great album. And I feel bad because this whole outburst, like, genuinely seems like he's just having a psychotic episode, like a breakdown.
Yeah, and just for reference, for those who don't know, for those who live under a rock, Mr. Ye went on Alex Jones's show podcast thing, which you already know it's bad when you're on Alex Jones's stuff, but whatever. He went on there and basically proclaimed his love for Nazis, proclaimed his love for Hitler, said that Hitler did good things, and all this just stuff, basically saying he even said he was a Nazi, but basically he was like, I'm a Nazi, I love Nazis, and all this just stuff you shouldn't say. Like, it's undefendable. Like yes, he has. It's if you watch the clips from the because you can't really find the whole interview anymore. I think they took it down, but you can find clips. And if you watch it, especially the clip where he pulls out, like, the butterfly net thing, or, like, the whatever, like, he calls it, like, Mr. Mittens or something, he pulls that out and starts making it talk and all this stuff. Like, it just looks like an episode of, like, a...
It just looks like
a societal break.
Mentally ill. Yeah.
But yes, it's kind of obvious he has a mental illness. And like, we should take...
That one where wasn't there most recently that, like, interview where he was like, yeah, I'm autistic, and then he gave, like, one of the worst possible examples of, like, autism? Like, it was like a stereotypical... Let me look it up.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did see that he called himself, he said, like, I might be a little autistic. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. He just keeps saying things, and... like, I want to feel like it's for attention, but you can't... I
don't even think it's for attention at this point. I think he's just doing it, and he's, like, getting attention from it when he's, like, clearly struggling with something.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is just, like, it's undefendable. Like, he may have a mental illness, and, like, we should take that into account, but you can't say, like, I love Nazis and I love Hitler, and defend the actions of one of the most despicable humans ever and not suffer consequences. Like, he may have made graduation, but, like, come on, man. I can't defend, like, no. Sorry, Mr. West. Just not. And then even with the whole autism thing, like, he said, like, he might have autism. It's kind of ironic that, like, if he does have autism or whatever, he would have been one of the ones on the chopping block in Nazi Germany. So, I mean, it's kind of ironic. It's so sad because, like, Kanye, or Ye, whatever he wants to call himself, is one of the greatest musicians of our time. Like, almost every album he's ever made is fucking fantastic. Like, hardly any skips, and it's, like, produced greatly, and there's hits upon hits upon hits on him.
Yeah, it's just...
Sorry,
it's sad.
Yeah, it's sad to watch the mind of the genius take him over.
Apparently, in this most recent interview, he was stopped outside the Cornerstone Christian Church in LA. He says, I believe that in no way I am not bipolar. I am not in some kind of episode. I may be slightly autistic like Rain Man, and that's part of my superpower. The thing is like, so Rain Man is about an autistic man who had, like, savant syndrome. So I guess he's, like, saying, oh, I have savant syndrome. but like at the same time he's also saying that he's autistic and not bipolar, even though I don't think that's true. Like, the best way to say it is I wouldn't imagine like an autistic person doing something like this. And like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, as someone who has bipolar, I've experienced a psychotic episode, and like the delusions that you suffer from are very severe. Like, they are literally life altering. And that's clearly something that I recognize in what's happening with him. Is he's saying all this dumb, stupid shit, but he might genuinely believe it because that's where his head's at currently.
Yeah. It's just...
But then he's still religious too, because he says the truth is Jesus loves everyone, God says love everyone. But then he's like, Nazis.
Yeah, then it's like, oh, I'm a Nazi, and he's going around on a like crusade of Jewish people, yeah. Carrying around like a spreadsheet of Jewish like CEOs. It's just he needs someone around him that's not a yes man, because like he's obviously surrounded himself with yes men, or he's surrounded himself with nobody. Because like if somebody would tell him from the jump, like any like person who wasn't around him for money or for fame, any like rational thinking person at this point in time would say, hey, let's not go on Alex Jones's podcast or show, whatever. You know, the guy who was just sued for like $1 billion for being a Sandy Hook conspiracy theorist, saying it wasn't real, and then actually losing that lawsuit. Like, any person who didn't want something from him, from Kanye, would be like, yeah, let's not go on his show.
Like, that was already like the first.
You were already at the floor, like, and then also not to mention really I didn't watch the whole interview. I watched like the segments that went viral, and I tried to find the whole interview, but it's, like I said, it's been taken down. They also had a literal white supremacist there too. I forgot his name. It's Nick something, but he's a literal white, like he's known for being a white supremacist. And he was in the same room. Like, he was at the desk they were sitting at. It's just like any, like, just
it's also
right-thinking person.
I remember watching, like, the interview, and you can tell Alex
Jones is uncomfortable.
Fucking Jones is trying to, like, maneuver it and be like, oh, like, you just like their uniforms, and, like, oh, you know, you just kind of like the concept of basic eugenics. And
he's like,
just
no.
Like, no!
No, I love Nazis. Like, what?
Hello? Also, this one where he's doing the interview outside of the church, the same one where you said he was autistic, he also went on to say, society needs to bring Christ to China.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this.
More anti-Semitism. And then he blamed Jewish people for Hitler's bad reputation and tried downplaying the Holocaust.
Yeah, he pretty much like denied the Holocaust at one point, which is another, just like, come on, man. He needs somebody in his life. He's like alienated himself. Like, he is like public enemy number one. I doubt anybody of like fame would want to touch him right now. But somebody's gotta like help my man. Like, he needs help, and it's obvious, but either he won't allow it to happen, or just no one is helping him.
Yeah, a lot of people are just saying he's claiming to be autistic to kind of excuse his hate speech, which, I mean, low-key.
I mean, like, it would, I guess it would like make sense, like, be like, oh, like, go and spout all this hatred and then just claim you're mentally ill and try to use it as a cop-out. But when you're actively spewing the same stuff Hitler did to convince the Germans that the Jews were the reason for their downfalls, you can't really excuse that. So, somebody help my man. Somebody help my man Kanye. Like, come on.
Oh, apparently, what in the world was this? Man assaulted an anti-Semitic attack in New York Central Park. Attacker yelled Kanye 2024.
See,
what the fuck?
This is exactly... That's exactly how shit starts.
That's insane.
People... I mean, maybe he does realize the power of his words, and that's why he's saying that stuff, but, like, spewing the wrong stuff.
I don't know. I was never that big of a fan of Kanye. Like, I like his older stuff, but, like, this stuff is, like, inexcusable. Like, it's embarrassing to be like, yeah, I really like Kanye West.
I mean, there were multiple people, like, we know, there were multiple people I know who had Kanye as, like, their #1 artist on Spotify or Apple Music, or, like, he was in their top 5, and then that stuff came out, and that stuff came out right after he said all this stuff, and people were like, oh, I can't share this. Like,
yeah, it's sad. It's just sad to see, like, someone so great and influential on an industry just be falling down the stairs, the ladder, just straight up nose diving off a cliff. But speaking of influential, speaking of influential people,
you have the greatest fucking.
I know. I'm
segues.
Working on those fucking segues. Speaking of influential U.S. people in an industry, Brittney Griner.
Brittney Griner was released, or she was traded, or
she was traded.
The Merchant of Death.
Which, when I first read about that, I was like, what?
I literally read that for the first time, and I was like, who? Like, we gave who for woman basketball player? But then, like, you know, once you read into it, you realize, like, he didn't have that much time left. He's still a fucking absolutely terrible human being, and, like, needs to be watched like a hawk to make sure he doesn't do the things he was doing before he was arrested.
I'm pretty sure he got arrested and indicted in Germany, and Germany was like, what the fuck are you doing? And they're like, we need our basketball player back. Which I think is funny, but, like, I understand why they did it. She is literally one of the best women's basketball players we have ever had. So, like...
And it's not even really because of that. It's because, like, not to get too political, but it's like Mr. Joe Biden, his presidency's not going so hot. Well, it wasn't. It's actually taken a turn. But when this whole thing when she got arrested in Russia, however long ago it was, at least was it 2022? Was it still this year? Or was it earlier? I think it was still this year.
I think it was either late last year or early this year.
Anyway, when she got arrested, Joe Biden's presidency was not going so hot. Inflation was through the roof, still is through the roof. Gas prices were through the roof. They're coming down. Everything was going downhill. And then so when she got arrested, a whole bunch of people were like, hey, get her out. And so he, like, had no choice. Like, he needed a win. He needed a W. So he, like, had to get her out. And they'll probably use this, like, as, like, a tool. Be like, we brought Brittney Griner home. As, like, to show, like, they're doing stuff. But it was definitely a political thing. I mean, she was arrested for political reasons. That's just obvious. Yes, she broke a law in Russia. Russia has strict drug laws. But the punishments for the laws over there are nowhere near as bad as what she got. Like, she was arrested for political reasons. And we had to make a unfair trade. But, hey, we got her home. Big dubs. As long as the Merchant of Death doesn't, you know, do Merchant of Death things, we're good.
I'm literally watching the video of the prisoner swap, and you see Bout get off the plane, and you see Griner walk up. Bout just kind of, like, says hi to a couple people. Griner just kind of stands there. She's fucking tall, by the way. She's literally towering over these people. She's like almost 7 foot, and then they just walk and go their separate ways. Bout looks so happy, by the way.
I mean, I would too. That were locked up because I mean I don't remember how long his prison sentence was. I do know I watched an interview with the former press secretary for President Biden, and she said that he didn't have that much left on his prison sentence anyway. So like, yeah, like when you look at the deal, like when you look at the swap face value, you're like, that's not really fair. But like, he wasn't gonna be in prison that much longer, and he had already been in there for like 20 years or something like that. You know,
I mean,
she is tall.
She's fucking huge. A lot of people were also like freaking out because she cut her hair. She used to have like really long dreadlocks, and people were freaking out because she basically like cut off and shaved her head, sort of. She has kind of like a short buzz cut of sorts. And people are like, oh my god, like they made her shave her head. And then she was like, no, I literally just like would take cold showers, and like it's really fucking cold in Russia, and then my hair would still be wet.
Yeah, her hair would literally freeze, so she probably had someone get rid of it for her.
But I mean, I'm glad we got her back. I mean, like you said, the trade in and of itself, I don't know if it was necessarily like the greatest deal in the world, and
we like it wasn't, and we're never gonna get a good deal like in that situation. No. Because like I said, they're using it, or the US government is gonna use it as like a political thing. And when it happened, like there was so much uproar. Like they were like, oh my god, like we have to get her home, like she's locked up over there. And Russia knew that. Like Russia watches American stuff, so they know like, oh, they really need her back, so they're not just gonna give her away for nothing.
Well, it coincides with like the Russian and Ukraine war that's going on currently, and I don't know, it's just a whole debacle that luckily has been resolved, thank God. But I'm glad that we can have more women's basketball. As I feel like women aren't very well represented in sports.
Yeah, no one really watches women's basketball, which is unfortunate because some of them do go hard.
There are some games that are pretty good. You know what? No, you know what I found out like recently? I went to a girls' volleyball game. That shit's intense as fuck, and so it's like actually really fun to watch. I know that sounds like the weirdest thing to bring up, but like that shit's crazy to watch.
Watching any sport, like watching any people play their sport at like the top level they can play. Like, you know, did you say you went to like a college game?
Yeah.
Yeah, like college isn't like the top of like the sports world, but like it's almost there. So like watching people compete at that level in any sport is entertaining. Like I don't care about soccer, I really don't, but watching the World Cup, like,
yeah, you're seeing the best of the best compete against each other.
Yeah, like it's entertaining. Will I watch anything related to soccer until 2026? No, but it was entertaining to watch it for the time in which it happened.
It's like the Olympics. My favorite, like my all-time favorite thing to watch in the Olympics is ice skating. I think it is so beautiful and everything, but in like my real life, I don't go to like the ice rink to watch people skate and do performances. I just don't. I have like a close friend who used to skate all the time, and I would go to her performances, and it was incredible to watch. But, like, I don't do it anymore. Like, the Olympics, I feel like, is something that really exposes everyone to like the coolest aspects of sports. Like watching people sprint a 50-meter, like Usain Bolt running a fucking 50-meter in how many seconds? Like that's like crazy to watch. I think it's fun. Like just watching people perform at like the highest max energy possible against some of the other greatest players in the world.
And also, it like exposes people to sports that don't get love. Because like most of the sports in the Olympics are the ones that aren't like, because like at least here in at least here in the U.S. you got like football, baseball, basketball, and that's really it. Like those are like the 3 watch sports, and that's like not even like a % of like all the sports in the world.
I found it was like I think it was an Olympics from a while ago. It's like so like you have what's it called? Trap. You have like trap and ski shooting.
Oh yeah.
But there was one where it's literally like you are given a handgun and you have a blinder on one eye and you have to shoot 5 targets. And you obviously like get points depending on where you shot and if you hit or not. And it is the craziest shit to watch. Just seeing these people raise their hand and being like dead shot on a target is crazy to me. Like, I don't know. Like, it's so cool to watch people show off their skills, but like I could never even imagine having.
Yeah, like I said, it's cool to watch someone who has spent their whole life training something and are like the elite of that sport. It's interesting to watch them compete against the other elites from around the world, no matter if you like the sport or not. Like I said, I don't care about soccer, and I watched some of the World Cup matches, mostly the ones the U.S. were in, but
I don't know. You want to see people win, and that's the time to watch people win. All right. Do you have any other thoughts, conclusions that you would like to make?
No. I was thinking, I was like, pretty much just said everything. People need to shut the fuck up about Christmas. Just get over it.
AIR, I think people will be fine.
AIR will be okay. Someone please help my man Kanye. I want to be able to, like, I didn't really fuck with Kanye's music too heavily. Like, I mean, he wasn't like in my like top artist or anything. I still do listen to some of his songs, but like, I want to be able to listen to Graduation in peace. Please, someone help my man Kanye. Still inexcusable what he said. And then shout out Brittney Griner, she's home. Big dubs in the chat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
There we go.
Follow us on Twitter. I forgot what it's at, but Claudia should put it on the screen. Follow us on Twitter. Like, comment, subscribe, donate. Follow me on OnlyFans, Pornhub. I ain't actually got those, but yeah, not yet. If you want it, I got a maid outfit. That's all I'm saying. Don't ask. Please don't fucking ask. I shouldn't have even said it. Just don't ask. It's not even really that embarrassing, but
Alrighty. Well, I think that's good. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Adios.